Toy Story 5 is the most unnecessary sequel ever made, and it's also one of the best movies of the year. While I can't deny that the film is high quality, I still firmly believe that Pixar should have walked away after Toy Story 3. That ending felt complete. Everything since has always kind of felt like the studio trying to justify continuing the franchise that already had like such a perfect conclusion. I will say I really love how the movie handles the toy versus tech idea. Instead of taking the lazy route and saying technology is bad, it goes in a much more interesting direction. You know, traditional toys like Buzz still kind of forces kids to use their imagination, but Bonnie's new Lily Pad tablet changes that completely. It doesn't just entertain her, it starts doing the imagining for her. And that's where the real conflict comes in. I believe it was director Andrew Stanton called it an existential problem because kids, you know, they just aren't playing with traditional toys the same way anymore. The core theme isn't toys versus technology. It's imagination versus convenience. And that's surprisingly smart and mature, especially for like this kind of kids family movie. I'm also really glad, though, that the storyline with Jessie is finally getting a lot of attention. I'm actually glad that Jessie's getting the spotlight. Honestly, this shift should have happened, in my opinion, a lot sooner. But her storyline is easily one of the best parts of the film. With Woody gone, Jessie is officially kind of the leader of the room, kind of making her, you know, the emotional center of the entire film. And now she's basically the one kind of burdened with holding the group together while playtime itself is officially kind of fading. That massive responsibility kind of gives her character more depth than she's kind of ever had before. And it feels like the most natural and well-deserved direction for her journey. It definitely makes a lot of sense, especially for her to kind of feel that void after Woody kind of left after the fourth movie. And speaking of Woody, that's kind of where I'm conflicted at. You know, I'm kind of conflicted about their return because on the one hand, it's great seeing Woody and Buzz again kind of team up. But on the other hand, their arcs are already completed. They're already finished. And because of that, it didn't feel like Woody added much to the core story. It at times felt like the film is trying to manufacture a reason for his presence instead of him naturally fitting in. That said, there is one fascinating detail, and that's the voices. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, they've been doing this for over 30 years, and, you know, you can hear it. You know, they definitely sound older now. You know, but I actually think it works. You know, the entire world around these characters are changing, and the subtle aging in their voices kind of works beautifully. It kind of adds the theme up, kind of moving forward. You know, I will also say that the first half is definitely a slow burn compared to the second half. I mean, it takes a lot of time to build up momentum and establish the tablet as a threat, which definitely drags down the pacing early on. But once the storyline gets going and once we kick into the second half, the movie starts moving. But the slow and sluggish start is definitely noticeable. Now, the one big improvement that no one can deny is the animation. Every Toy Story film has looked better than the last, and this is no exception. It's easily one of the best looking films in the entire franchise. Pixar, you know, apparently they used a brand new rendering engine, kind of which lets the animators process lighting in frames like 9 times faster or whatever that means. Either way, you can absolutely see the upgrade on the screen. The textures, the lighting, the environments, this is all peak Pixar. Visually, this movie looks flawless. So here's why I land on Toy Story 5. Toy Story 5 is, as I said at the start, completely unnecessary. But it's also incredibly good, and that's what makes it so complicated. I still believe Toy Story 3 should have been the final curtain, but if you're gonna force a continuation on the franchise that already ended perfectly, this is about as strong as it gets, in my opinion. It expands the themes in a meaningful way. It gives Jessie a spectacular arc, and it actually tries to say something to a new modern audience, even though it doesn't always succeed. But what do you think? Did Toy Story 5 kind of justify continuing the franchise, or should they have ended years ago? Let me know in the comments. I kind of want to get you guys' take on this. Until then, I'm T-Rex 3000, and I'm out.